Hey guys, welcome back to MACD. This is where we interview veterans, first responders, and active duty military personnel to learn more about them. Today, we're joined by Officer Chandler, who's at the Frisco Police Department. He's been in for 13 years, so thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time. So what is your favorite fast food restaurant?
Actually, it's a chain restaurant from the Dallas area called Burger House.
Okay.
It's a hamburger joint.
So what's your favorite burger from there?
It's a double cheeseburger with jalapenos, pickles, and mustard.
It's pretty good. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It'll take me some time.
Fantastic.
What is your favorite holiday?
I'd probably have to say Memorial Day. And a lot of people probably say Christmas or
Christmas,
or Halloween or something like that.
Yeah.
But, I think that's one that, that everyone kind of passes over or whatever.
Just another 3-day weekend.
Yeah, another 3-day weekend or whatever, and it's something that we should really be thankful for and thank those that have, made the ultimate sacrifice for us. So, not just being first responders, but also the military and things like that.
Sure.
But, additionally, it's what makes this place great that we live in.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. What is the favorite place that you've traveled to in the United States?
So there's a little town in Idaho called Stanley.
Okay.
And it's in the middle of the Sawtooth Mountains.
Okay.
And I actually took a motorcycle trip there last summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
4,500-mile, 16-day road trip.
Wow.
With my wife, and it was probably the most beautiful place I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Did you do anything specific in there that made it your favorite, or was it just the journey getting there?
The journey, really, I think about Idaho, you think about flat potatoes, and I didn't really know about the mountains on the north end of the state.
I didn't either.
And so when we got there, it was just like the journey there was impressive. Just, on the road, going towards the mountains, being able to see everything that was coming our way. And then once we got in the mountains, it cooled down. It snowed that night. There was a cool little restaurant we went to and saw a band play.
Oh, cool.
So it was just a really cool experience, but just, the whole environment up there, just amazing. It's nice to know that there's places like that you can visit.
That's still around. That's great. So why did you choose to be a first responder? Why did you make that step?
So actually, I have a background. My father is a police officer in the area. He's going close to 30 years now that he's been on the job. My grandfather was also a police officer, was a motor jock in the Houston area. And so that kind of was the precedent in my family that was set forth. And originally I really didn't want to be a police officer, didn't want to be a first responder. Out of high school I started working in a jail for a local police department in the south in the Metroplex, and kind of saw the camaraderie that a lot of the first responders have, and I really enjoyed that. And then through that, you kind of see, hey, this is a purpose, people seeking answers and needing help with their problems, and you really get to be that person to put them at ease and sometimes take what is the most important problem in their world, and just a simple thing that you may do may make that a lot better. So I really enjoyed that, and so since then, now in my family, both my brothers are police officers in the area. One is in the police academy currently. The other one is a police officer, and then my wife is a police officer also. So we have a large family of first responders.
How much longer does your brother have in the academy?
My brother will be graduating at the end of March.
Okay, so super soon, next month?
Super
That's
soon.
Awesome, that's so exciting. So let's dive back a little bit. Speaking of officer training, how was your training? How long was it and where was it?
So I actually attended Police Academy at the Council of Governments Police Academy. It's in Arlington, near Six Flags. So a lot of people don't even know there's one down there. So it's a regional police academy, so a lot of different agencies meet up. So we had a very large class when I went. It was 53 people in the class, all from throughout the Metroplex.
Yeah.
So that lasted just about 6 months.
Okay, awesome. Do you have funniest memory from training?
Funniest memory that sticks out. I remember I had, really maybe not as funny, but I was in field training at the time, so I'd already graduated the police academy. Okay. And it was an icy day, and this is another agency that I worked at. And I was making a traffic stop. I came back in, and we had finished training for the day just about. And I remember this specific traffic stop because we were on this main thoroughfare through town, and it was kind of busy, but it was icy. Right. And we got called back to a home alarm at a residence. Just like an alarm going off, so we go check the doors and stuff. So get around there, and my field training officer's like, hey, you can go do this by yourself, so I get out of the car and just go around and just kind of make sure the windows are locked up, make sure the doors are secure, and so get done with that, go back in and go to the alleyway where the garage is, and I get back there, and no sooner did I walk up the driveway, whoop, my feet came out from underneath me, my radio goes flying, and I slid all the way down the alleyway. And then I guess my radio had kind of clicked, so my field training officer runs around there. He's like, oh, and I look, a beach whale laying down there in the alleyway all on my back. But the day continued because I got called into the office not long after that, and a lot of times that's like, oh no, I'm in trouble,
right.
Something. And my field training officer decided it would be funny to say, hey, while we were making that traffic stop before this alarm, the chief drove by. And said that he saw you on the icy road and you were being unsafe, and now we're going to have to remove you and hold you back in training. And I mean, this whole convincing story, and I'm like, oh no, what did I do? What's going to happen? And it was all a ploy just to, to prank me. So it was a very memorable day because all that happened at once. And so
that's good. That's good though that they want to mess with you.
Yeah.
So what happened to you after training? Is that when you started to apply for different agencies?
No, so I actually worked at the other agency for 9 years.
Okay.
I was there, and then I came here in 2014.
Okay, cool. So what does a day in the life look like for you?
So I currently work in our community services office, which is a kind of a tornado of things. Honestly, it's I like to call it the junk drawer of the police department. We have a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah.
And for good reason. We do a lot. We interact with the media. We do public education. And then we all kind of have, of our 4 team members that we have throughout, we all have different areas of responsibility that we handle. From social media to multi-housing liaison work, all of our extra jobs throughout the city, we schedule and invoice those. And then I think, like you've talked to Officer Rotello, he handles our neighborhood and volunteers. So those are all things that are going on. So for like me, for instance, I get here in the morning usually. We work a 10-hour schedule, either Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. Okay. So I get in, and my beginning of my day is usually email.
Yeah.
Catching up on email from the day before, the night before. And if there's any kind of thing with media going on, any news stories, we have to kind of address those and make sure those get handled. So that's one of our big responsibilities. And then it's just kind of back and forth scheduling, planning. Right now I'm in the process of scheduling our Citizens Police Academy.
Okay.
So, it's making a syllabus, it's getting folks registered, following up with those folks, doing background checks, making sure the folks we have coming in here. So we'll have about close to 50 people that come through our Citizens Police Academy that'll run from March 21st to May 30th. Okay. And every week they'll come in for about 3 hours in the evening on a Thursday and learn about a different area of the police department. So I manage that program. So that's one of the big things I'm doing right now. So I come in and we'll get things organized. We have binders that we do for these folks. So we gotta get all the material for those. And really from day to day it can just kind of depend. Like Mondays, I have to do reports that I send out to all of my apartment complexes. So we send all those out via email, make sure they know, kind of if the police have been at their apartment complex that week prior and why, just to kind of let them be in the know of things. I also am fortunate to handle the web page for our police department. So I do any kind of modifications that we need to do on that. And then additionally, we do all of our video production in-house too. Yeah. I've kind of self-taught myself how to do that. That's so good. Anytime we have any kind of project or media that needs to go out, we work on that in-house too. So really, there's just a vast amount of things that we work on in the office, and so that the day can just kind of take a left turn and we have to work on this project.
Yeah, just go right with it. Yeah. For those that want to go to that Citizen Academy, what can they do to apply?
So actually right now we just, yesterday, 2 days ago, we just opened up the link. Okay. So it's on all our social media on the website as well, friscopd.com, but you can go on there and register. There's an active link for Citizens Police Academy, and they can, this is our 45th session. Okay. So like I said, we take about 50 people, and I think we're about half full right now, so it usually fills up within the first week or so. Yeah. We encourage anybody that lives, works, or studies in the city to come and try to be a part of the program and learn more about your police department. Yeah, so it's every month, and then is that back-to-back? You have sessions, or do you take like... So we do 2 sessions a year. Okay. So we have a spring and a fall session. Okay, perfect, just like school.
Let's see, what is one of the favorite places that you've gone to travel to because of being a first responder? A lot of people bring up conferences they've been to or stuff like that.
So I actually was fortunate enough this past year, it was one of my most memorable trips, I got to go to New York City. So being a part of the media team here, there is a group that meets, that's public information officers.
Yeah.
And they had their conference in New York City. And even more so, it was at and hosted by the New York Police Department. Which was amazing, by the New York City Police Department. And we got to go into their, what's called their ComStat room, which is is a very prestigious room to be able to go and be a part of, and that's where all of our class was held. So it was awesome. We got to hear from some amazing people. We got to hear from one of the public information officers that was a part of the Las Vegas shooting.
Oh, wow.
And hear their side of the story, their account, and how they worked through the processes.
Yeah.
And it was a very, like lessons learned type information. So it was a very memorable trip. And on top of that, then you get some free time to go see some sites and things like that. And I've never been to New York, so it was amazing.
It's on my list. I haven't gone there yet. What is one of your favorite things to do as a first responder? Of all the different things you get to do.
So additionally, on top of being on the team that I am, I have an amazing team. I love the guys I work with. I'm also a part-time member of our special operations unit, which a lot of folks call our SWAT team.
Right.
So we here have, and traditionally most of the cities around us have what's called a part-time team. So everybody on the team has got a different role in the police department. That's their main role.
Yeah, their day job, if you will.
Yes, their day job, essentially. And then whenever we have an issue come up, we are sent over to handle that as a part of the SWAT team. So we train twice a month, do our training, and then respond to anything we need to be able to have to do.
So is it just like you could randomly be called, or is it like they're watching a situation and then they prep you guys? Or
yeah, so it could be both. Most of the time, whenever in the past few years, I'm just shy of 3 years now that I've been a part of the team. It could be just in the middle of the night. Yep. Hey, this is going on. We need everybody to respond to the police department.
Yeah, or at least be on standby.
Most recently, I think it was in December, we had a gentleman that was held up in his house that wouldn't come out. And so we got called out for that, and we were out all night for like 8 hours outside of the house. We were working through the problem until we were able to safely take him into custody. So, there's different things like that could come up. But also, we serve arrest warrants and things like that if we need to. So there's an array of things we could be doing.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's not a full-time team, right?
Exactly.
It's part-time.
Usually the only full-time teams here that we have in the area are going to be Dallas is a full-time team. So your larger cities, Fort Worth. So those areas that basically are constantly working and doing operations and things like that.
For sure. Okay, let's see. How do you balance your work and personal life?
Very carefully. It's a very difficult thing to do. I think it's even more difficult because my wife is a first responder also.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
It's kind of, luckily we don't have children, so I don't have to balance that as well.
That's good.
I have fur babies, so a dog and a cat, but yeah, it's hard. You have to really, what I've learned after 13 years now is you have to leave work at work, and that's really taken a lot. A lot of times we suffer from hypervigilance. So, when we're at work, we have to constantly be, especially when we're out and about, when you work patrol even more so. And those guys and gals are just, always looking around. And you take that home, and you're just worn down, and you don't want to talk to your spouse. You just want to sit there and watch Netflix, or whatever. And so it's first of all acknowledging that is a thing, and then doing something about it. So like every morning, I have a routine. I'm in the gym every single morning, boxing or weightlifting or something, to relieve that stress, and obviously also for cardiovascular health.
Right.
So that's one important thing that's really helped improve that over the years, is having a constant routine of making sure exercise is in there. But also having hobbies and things like that. Motorcycle riding, I told you.
Yes.
I recently read an article actually on a website called bikerdigital.com, and it was talking about how 20 minutes of motorcycle riding, they did a study, I believe it was at UCLA, of how much that decreases your stress. Just 20 minutes going on a motorcycle ride. Yeah. We call it knees in the breeze when you're riding your motorcycle.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so that's what I do as my hobby. I love it. It's a passion of mine.
Yeah.
My wife enjoys it with me, so we travel. That's one
good.
of the things we do, and we love to get out and go visit different places. So.
Yeah, awesome. The next question, my favorite question, is there an active courage in someone else that you're willing to share? Could have been first-hand account or something you heard about.
Yeah, I mean, I was, when I worked in the other city, it was Farmers Branch is the city that I worked in. And when I worked there, we were called to a house fire. And I remember it vividly. It was December 9th, 2009. I know the day.
Yeah.
I was actually on scene of a person who had overdosed on drugs. And the fire department had just revived this person.
Oh, wow.
So that was great. So during that time, though, we were dispatched to a house fire.
Okay, so now this is a separate place.
It's a separate call now. So we get dispatched from there. So I'm on the north end of the city, and we get sent, hey, there's a house fire, and there's someone trapped inside.
Okay.
All right, so we zip on down there, me and another guy that were on that call, and get there, and the canine officer is already on scene, and he is crawling inside the house, full of smoke, the biggest fire you've ever seen. And these are on big 1 acre lots, or half acre lots. They're big, huge lots, a lot bigger than you normally see. So the houses are kind of spread apart. And so we're all pulled up in the driveway there, or the front of the yard, basically. And he's crawling through what we think is the front door.
Yeah.
And so he goes in and comes back out, he's coughing, he's like, I can't see anything in there, it's already smoke to the ground.
Right.
And so there's 3 of us there at this time, and they're, I tried to crawl in a little bit and get as far, start hacking all this smoke, and no, nothing. So we all come out, and we realize that this isn't the front door of the house. There's a door to the side over here that's the front door. And so these 2 gentlemen start trying to break the door down. The other 2 officers I was with. I at the time was a hefty 270 pounds monster of a man.
Yeah.
Not for anything not for a good reason. I was just a big man then at the time. And so I said, hey, move out of the way, and barreled through the door.
Yeah.
So we were able to break the door open at least. And then between us 3, we were able to find this resident that was in the house and pull her out of there. She had been right on the other side of the door. And then we went to render aid to her. But especially from the get-go, for the first guy that got on scene there, and I remember to this day, he's actually getting ready to retire. For him to just, go into that fire, especially the way it looked, it was nuts. And crazily enough, as soon as we pulled her away from the door, a big blast of, and I don't know, I'm not a fireman. Yeah. But this big blast of fire came out of the doorway.
I believe it's called backdraft. I could be wrong.
Well, I think it's something to do like that, but it was, all the air had came in, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Came back
busted down the door, darn it.
Yeah, and so it was shortly after that, and anyway, so very memorable experience. Awesome to have worked with those guys. Yeah. And actually, I just saw that some of them were part of another courageous event out in their city recently. I saw on Facebook, so continues on. It was great memories working with those guys, and definitely a memorable event. So.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So if you could go back over and start your career all over again, would you do it again? Having the same things happen?
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, I think it's really shaped me as a man, as a husband, as a friend. It's crazy to look back and see. I started working in this career when I was 18 years old. Yeah. So the people I've worked with have watched me grow up. You know, and they've known me since I was a kid. Essentially, I mean, I think back on being 18 years old and working. I was working in the jail at the time, and it was like, wide-eyed and like, what's going on? And but it's fantastic. I mean, I really like where I'm at in my life because of this profession. And I really enjoy now that I get to go out and promote the good work that our officers do. Yeah. And and probably to answer your question better, more so than even being a part of our part-time SWAT team and hanging out with the camaraderie I have with those guys is really getting to promote the good work we do here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I agree with that. What 3 words would you use to describe being a first responder?
That's easy. Always something different.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything you do. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you work in an office, you're a detective, whatever. There's always something different in this job every day.
Yeah, I've heard that police work is never routine.
No, it's never routine.
Routine stuff.
And I mean, you have those things where you obviously, there's some monotony to them, but I tell you, you can go, you hear these guys and gals say this every day, hey, I learned something new today, and you really do. I mean, it's constant. And especially with the way that we are so involved in media and things like that these days, that our images and video are out and about, it's really important for us to make sure that we're promoting ourselves. But more so that we're in the limelight more, and we have to adapt to that.
Yep.
And so I think we've done a good job of that, and we will continue to do that. Our chief here is very big on the aspect of, he wants folks to communicate with us in the fact that, hey, we want you to tell us when we're doing good, but we also want you to tell us when we're doing bad. So both ends of the stick, and I think it's, that way they get, if we're doing something we're not supposed to be, we're going to be held accountable. But if we're doing the work the way we're supposed to, the way that you, the citizen, expect of us, then, hey, we want to hear that too.
Yeah, just so you know that you're doing what citizens expect.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's all we got. Thank you for service.
Awesome.
God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.